Cinema has got just massive possibilities. I mean, it's a beautiful medium. I mean, you can tell stories, you can tell horror stories, you can tell comedies, you can be surreal, you can be perceptive. It has such a range that it's absolutely marvellous. And then you mix that with image, which again can be so powerful. Mixed again with music, the sound of the human voice. You know, it's got the capacity to look at the top of an ant's head, or it can survey the world from Mount Everest. It's got every possibilities, but we have to fight for its space. I've got affection for each story, you know, for many different reasons. Sometimes it's the people you've met on it, sometimes because the project has been so difficult. For example, doing a film about Eric Cantona, which was a kind of, there's more comic elements to it, and with such a wonderful, charismatic character, that was a much easier film to make. Whereas doing something like Bread and Roses, when it's about immigrants, cleaners, women, trade union organising, I think the only two people in the world that wanted to make this were me and Ken. You know, so it was a massive battle.
Y luego pero ten cuidado porque algunas veces el viento te echa la basura en la cara.
It doesn't appear that there are any material facts. All the discovery is done. I think we should do it.
The judge just isn't ready to grant it. He's going to want to wait a while.
Even if we only prevail on a couple of issues, it'll be all right.
It costs a lot. It's just very
I think it's really good.
Ya te dije mi historia acerca de estos uniformes.
¿No?
Nos hacen invisibles. Pero bueno, vente, vamos a seguir con el otro. Bueno, tenemos que esperar que regrese. ¿Qué haces?
Santo Dios, mujer, ¿qué estás haciendo?
This goes wrong.
I think we're going to do the assignment like
If this doesn't work, you're going to be up to your ass with shareholder derivatives.
all right, I know that. Come on, who pushed all the fucking buttons?
Estás re loca, mujer. ¿Cómo se te ocurre tu primer día?
I did become a lawyer, and I did enjoy it. I was a young lawyer in Glasgow doing civil and criminal court work, and it was great fun, great lessons. I mean, every single day there was always a surprise, and you know, when you're in your 20s, you know, to have the energy to deal with that, and it opened me up to a great deal, really, because you see people from all walks of life, especially if you do criminal law, you know, and we did a lot of you know, housing and welfare law as well. So it really was a tremendous lesson, and I learnt a great deal from it. But of course, in your mid-20s too, you want to, I suppose like my parents, I wanted to see the world, learn another language. And I was very interested in what happened with the Sandinista Revolution in 1979. I followed that very closely. And to cut a very long story short, I went to work there with a Solidarity organisation, and eventually ended up working for a domestic human rights organisation in Nicaragua. So I was a witness to that war that was again financed by the United States. And it was remarkable to see how that tiny little country was ripped apart by the United States. And it was a very important lesson very early on in life to differentiate from their rhetoric from their action. Because the United States said this was a fight for freedom and democracy, but what of course was they were financing a mercenary army who were torturing and murdering the civilian population, as every human rights organisation, you know, said at that time. So, but to actually be a witness to it, you know, to look the parents in the eye who've had their children kidnapped or tortured or murdered, is quite different from reading about it in a report. So that was I travelled widely in Central America then. I went to El Salvador and Guatemala, which were very dark periods then too. And I suppose out of that experience, I decided in my innocence I was going to try and make a film about what I'd seen. And that's when I made contact with Mr. Ken Loach. And Ken was very open from the very beginning, very curious, because very few directors really would be so open to, you know, someone who knew very little about film, who'd never written a script before. But Ken was incredibly encouraging and curious. And so after several years we got to the first film we made together, Carla Song, made in Nicaragua. And then we've been kind of banging away ever since, really.
Come on, why can't you just tell me the truth, eh?
Say
Plain and simple. When? Tell me the truth.
Okay, plain and simple. They caught Antonio in an ambush. They tied his hands behind his back and cut out his tongue with a knife. Then when he's lying there, They smashed his spine with rifle butts. Plain and simple.
Fucking animals.
Animals? Nah.
They're all fucking animals. They're scum. The ones that came here last fucking night. They're fucking scum.
You think they make this up as they go along? Kid, grow up. It all came out from Langley. It was worked out ahead of time from Langley, fucking Virginia. You know where that is? It's the headquarters for the CIA, Central Intelligence Agency, American. Jesus Christ, look at this.
The fucking Nicaraguans came last night.
Kid, that's right. One of those Contras last night had this in his pocket. You tell me how he got this. A satellite photo. Taken by U.S. planes. All right, look at this. School, school, school. That is, I think, a healthcare center for sure. That's a farm co-op. Okay, now wait a minute. Now these are attack plans those fucks had for last night. They're right here, okay. This is here, all right?
Ken, he's a very close friend. You know, we're very, very close. But first of all, he's a very intellectually, you know, tough collaborator because he asks all the hard questions, which you need. And so I welcome that. And also, but he's a very generous man, and he's also a very, very funny man. So it's great fun to be with him. And of course, now we'll be making films for so many years. You know, once we got on to the next stage, you know, locations, or working with Rebecca O'Brien, our producer, or Barry Ackroyd, the director of photography, or Ray the sound man, and it's a whole bunch of people that we've known now for many, many years. So it feels like a very warm family, really. So it's a great privilege to be working and telling stories with your friends.
These fucking new poles, they're doing my nut, man. I swear to God, bring me back to the old days. You know what I mean? No complaints. They kept their head down and kept that fucking quiet.
Okay.
Now they've got a bit of paper. They fucking think they own the joint.
Listen, Toe, don't worry about it, all right? We'll fix you up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'll get you a good
that's
rate.
good. That's good. That's why I phoned you, darling. Yeah.
No problem. Well, what about a cheque?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, of course it's a cheque.
Keep it blank.
Yeah, of course. Sweet as, you learn. So what's in it for me?
So we have Damien, Marcin, okay, green van. Okay, Henry and Sandor, white van. Darius and Thomas, okay, green van. Anna, Sylvia, okay, white van.
The script is very, very tight. We go over it again to get it as tight as possible. And Ken shoots in sequence, which is, you know, very, very few filmmakers do that. So things chop and change a little bit, but usually it's very close to the script, you know. And but I'm very much involved in the casting process. I do that with Ken. I used to spend a lot more time in the shoots, but I don't do that so much now because I've got 3 little boys and my partner Thea as a filmmaker. But again, when it comes to the editing, again, we always see the long cuts and we try and chop it down, and sometimes we have the same discussions that we had previously on the script. But it's a very organic process. So I'd like to think that, you know, I write the script and Ken directs the film, but we meet in the middle as filmmakers and we just try to make it work, really. And but he's a man who's not scared of questions. He's a man who welcomes questions. And it's very much his stamp, and he's been making films for 40 years. But a film is a very collaborative process, and he's the first person to say that.
Have a drink, and see what you can find.
Joe.
I consider it social.
No.
I consider it fucking social.
Just get on.
Oh, he is. He's running like fuck.
What is it?
Ah, Jesus, a guy for the social taking pictures.
Oh, nightmare.
Joe!
What's he gonna do?
Get the camera. Get out of fucking... What are you doing? Stop that. That's enough. Get the camera. That's enough. That's government property. What? It's government property. Government property? How do you government property? Look, just come out here, we'll talk about it. Look, it's just my job. Just a job? It's just my job. Do you step as well? Is that part of your job? You scum. Very funny. Come on. Look. Okay, hey, look, I'm not going to hurry you. Just come on and we'll talk about this. What? I've got a bad heart. You got a bad heart? Listen, I take first aid. You come out and I'll give you a special fucking heart massage, you scum bastard. I'm going to tell everybody what you want. Look at this. My heart. Let's go.
Jesus Christ, you hot with a brush.
That's fucking assault, dude.
I'm gonna report you.
That's the great privilege of having the possibility of pursuing your interests, your own obsessions. You know, so I don't complain about it. I've learned as much from the tough ones as I have from the easier ones, if not much more.